What's up, everybody? In this episode of Man vs. Marriage, I want to talk to you about this particular topic, and that is that men want to change, but there's a problem. We tend to wait for some fairy tale called motivation. And in some cases, waiting might even feel responsible, but in my opinion, it's really procrastination. It causes drift in your life. And so real change begins like this. It begins with a decision. And it's your choice. It's not an emotion. It's not how you feel. Change is making a choice. And you have the power to do that right now. So you're like one decision away from changing the entire trajectory of your life. And that is what we're going to talk about today on this episode of Man vs. Marriage. What's up, everybody? It's the Q-Dog. Welcome back to another episode of Man vs. Marriage. And here's what we're going to talk about tonight. Making a choice to change. You see, men want to change, but all too often we wait for motivation. I got some thoughts on that. In a lot of cases, waiting feels responsible, but in your life, waiting creates drift. Change begins with one single decision. It does not begin with emotion. And one decision tonight has the power to change the trajectory of your life. I'm looking forward to talking to you about that tonight in this solo episode with the Q-Dog right here on Man vs. Marriage, the podcast. Cut there. Welcome back to another episode of Man vs. Marriage. It is I, your humble servant, the Q-Dog, in the Moran family studio, rolling with a solo episode to talk to you tonight about it's time to make a change. Now, you can make a choice to make that change, and I'm here to help you understand how that happens. In this episode, we are going to confront the lie that change starts with motivation. Real change begins with a decision. This is something that Tony Robbins talked about that was very impressive to me. He talked about the pain of indecision and the pain of decision. And when you start to shift your mind, it's a simple mind shift. When you understand the pain of not making a choice is more detrimental than actually making the choice. It can all change there. Now, if you've been waiting for the right time, the right feeling, or less pressure, this episode is your wake-up call. And that's my challenge to you. One clear choice made today can change the direction of your marriage. And I'm here to tell you that can start right now. How do you know that, Quincy? Because it happened for me. And so I want to talk to you tonight about that particular thing. How can we relieve some of this pressure that society tells you, like it's in lights? Everything has to be about motivation. There has to be the magical Disney moment. That's when things are going to change. when there's big lights, magical noises. That's not where it's at. It's simply in the power of making a choice. And brother, let me tell you this. The great news is that you have the power to do that right now. You have the power to do that inside of you. How do I know that? Because you're already making a choice. Let me adjust the microphone so you can hear me one more time. You are already making a choice by not choosing. I just paused for a second right there because I wanted to let that sink in. I wanted to let it sink into where you are. Now, procrastination is so deadly. Waiting creates drift in your life. And drift is important because it starts to pull you away from your higher self. It starts to pull you away from the man that you desire to be. It starts to pull you away from who you were created to be. It's not safety. Waiting to change is not safe. It's comfortable. It's what you know. But you can change all of that today. The thing is that I challenge this audience. I challenge you not to go on your feelings. Now, your feelings can be very powerful. Your emotions can be very powerful. But when it comes to making a change, even when we go to the funeral experience, I talk to you about, think of what you want people to say about you after your time on earth is done, right? That does invoke an emotional response. But the power is stepping back into our logical self and saying, I'm going to make this decision because the future me is counting on me to do so. Not because I feel like it. I've talked about for years that motivation is fake. Motivation is manufactured. It's something that you must do. It's something you must build within you. But it's not going to be a feeling that lasts. It's not going to be a feeling that gets you to the next version of who you're becoming. It's just not going to happen that way. I talk a lot about our confidence being in our intention. And that intention needs to be pure. But your intention can be great, but if it's not coupled, if it's not powered by a choice and an action, then it's not benefiting you. Making one choice to take action can be more powerful than 10 good intentions. So that's what we're here to discuss. Think to yourself, what is holding you back from changing? What are you putting off? And why? This is all a part of this episode series called Where Do I Start? Now, we have given you 9 power-packed episodes, 10 including the bonus episode, in order for you to figure out where to start. But there's no power in the message if you're not willing to make a choice to change. And I'm really big when it comes to telling you to focus on what you can affect. And what is that? It's number 1, my attitude, right? You've got to be able to focus and affect your attitude. You're the only one that has control over that. Your actions. Focus on your actions. If we're not focused on making and taking actions, what are we doing here? So your attitude, your effort, your actions, and your intentions. What is the effort part of this? The effort part of this means that if you have set a target for yourself and something happens during the day that causes you to feel a certain way, or like people say, causes you to get in your feelings. For me, I used to stress eat, and I used to utilize those disappointing or those high stress times. I used to utilize those times to justify why I'll just start on Monday. If it's Tuesday, I'm going strong, something happens, I fall off the wagon. Instead of starting again right then and there, to say, you know what, I'm going to start on Monday. I'm going to go ahead and just get as many meals in as I can. I don't want to waste all this food. I don't want to do X. I don't want to do Y. I don't want to do C. Those letters were not in order. But what is that telling you? That's telling you that you're in a cycle of sabotage, and it's time to make that choice in order for you to change. Now, what is drift? I have some information here. I want to read you a little bit about drift. Okay. Drift is when you feel something like this. You recognize rather than feel. I don't recognize myself lately. You're not being aligned, or you're not in alignment. You're not congruent with who you want to be, and you're not making those actions line up with your words and moving yourself forward. Because life is truly about who you are becoming, no matter where you find yourself right now. Making that one small choice to change gets you into forward motion about who you're becoming. When your self-talk justifies inaction, poor attitudes, low to no effort, when you're not intentional, that's when you're beginning to drift. That's what is creating drift. And then we'll want to talk about direction drift. I'm doing a lot, but I don't know why. There's no clear definition to a successful day. You wake up responding instead of deciding, like you're in full reaction mode. You have a lot going on in your calendar, but you don't feel as if, or you don't see it as contributing to your sense of purpose. It's just busy work. And then relationship drift. Like something doesn't feel right at home. There is something off in the atmosphere. You're not where you are. You're not interacting, being present to the moment, being where your feet are. Spending excessive amounts of time on your phone. Drifting further away from those connected relationships that you want, or that connected purpose that you're working hard for. There's a whole lot of irritation going on in your life, and that can be from a number of things. Trust me, I know. But being in that place of drift, or being in that place of internal frustration, you can project that attitude on other people. The other thing that drift is it's like you are physically there, but emotionally unavailable. The silence is on purpose, because I just want you to take a minute or a few seconds there to let that sink in. Drifting is about neglecting the things that you know you're supposed to do. Drifting is about understanding that you're not living to a standard in your life. Drifting is about a lack of intention and action towards the man that you are becoming, who you want to be. Now let's go back to this. The fact is that you're already making a choice not to change. So why not decide, whether you feel like it or not? Why not decide to empower, to put the power you have within you into the choice to make a change. You're one decision away. You are one simple decision away from changing your life from the better. I'm here to tell you, no matter how big you have made this in your mind, no matter how long you've been procrastinating to put it off, no matter how unqualified you feel, when you're ready to take personal responsibility, you have a guy in the game. I am your guy. I am here to help you. I'm here to lead you. I'm here to help you understand that I used to be you. And the power of making one small choice will change your life forever. You can take that to the bank. And then the thing is that you might be like me, where you got caught up into thinking how many choices you're going to have to make in order to become this overall man you want to be. I'm telling you, don't get caught up in that. My buddy Jeff, who I recently got to spend some time with, Jeff and Candace that were on this program at one time, made it extremely simple. Just do the next right thing. And you know that my expectation, my standard for Quincy Moran is not perfection. It's excellence, and excellence is achievable. So let's learn. Let's learn from my experience and from my journey. Know that I'm up ahead of you on the path, and I'm looking back and I'm saying, it's worth it to make this change. I've been there. I've done that. I bought the t-shirt, and I'm a believer. I want to encourage you to listen to this as I read this one more time. Today, in this episode, we confront the lie that change starts with motivation. Real change begins with a decision. If you've been waiting for the right time, the right feeling, or less pressure, this episode is your wake-up call. One clear choice made today can change the direction of your marriage, starting now. If there are changes in your life, which I suspect that there are because you clicked onto this episode, that you've been postponing, conversations that are tough to have, a boundary that you're not discussing, a habit that you're sick of being in the cycle with, maybe there's an apology that you need to make. Utilize this opportunity to make a choice and decide that that's going to happen in the next 24 hours. Put it on the map. Make it a point to do it. Schedule it. Get it done. Do not renegotiate it, and move forward. And let's utilize that as a springboard. Don't get focused on what the outcome of that is. Just know with each choice you make to change, you won't see it initially, but you will start creating momentum. I'll say this one more time. Maybe you're saying this, Quincy, you don't know what I'm going through. Quincy, you don't know what my life is about. You don't know where I'm at or what I've done or what's going on. And all that is true. But what I can tell you with a great amount of confidence is that you're at this podcast for a reason. It was the title, I'm sure. And I know this after 15 years of working in this area on my life and marching towards a decade of podcasting and helping friends, family, strangers from around the world, that I used to be you. And the information I'm giving you now is something that I had to learn over the course of a very long time. Lots of energy, lots of effort, lots of mistakes. And I'm so grateful for those. I'm so grateful for those because I can come to you with conviction and say, each choice you make creates momentum, even when you don't see it. Change doesn't start when life gets easier. Change starts when a man decides that he's done waiting. I'm calling on you to be done waiting right now. Whatever you scheduled, whatever crossed your mind after this podcast is over, I want you to get written down somewhere. I want you to put it in the calendar somewhere. I want you to put something concrete into it. I want you to go out there and get after it and follow through. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is all for this particular episode of Man versus Marriage. Thank you guys so much for listening. Thank you for sharing this podcast. I would ask you to, if something in this show or any show you listen to resonates, would you please go and rate and review the show and continue sharing the show? That helps us grow the platform and help more people. And that's what we're here to do. So please give us a great rating. Leave a review for people to see. Share this show with every single bro and sister. And I look forward to being right here for you on the next episode. But for now, I am Quincy Moran, a.k.a. the Q Dog, and this is Man vs. Marriage, the podcast.